So picking up where we last left off, it was Monday, yesterday. I had set some recurring activities that I wanted to remind myself of. That's why I've got these little emojis here. And I did actually do them. I didn't review my exams as much as I'd like, but I did actually go through them at least and recognize that I kind of need to review them a bit more. So it's fine that they're here as repeating or recurring tasks on Monday. And I did also read a little bit of manga. I had set the goal to read for about an hour, and I did manage to do that. Now let's go to Tuesday. And so so I wanted to practice hiragana and katakana. So what I want to do is, I actually just want to practice the writing, not the reading. So I want to now, let's just open up, let's look up a table, because I just want to put it somewhere simple for me to reference. Yeah, this one looks fine. And what I want to do is I'm going to save this to the desktop, just drag and drop it. And I'm going to put it in here just so it's easy for me to reference. There we go. Okay. And then read some manga. So great. Okay, I'll do that later today. Now let's move on to the next piece, you could call it, of this very simple system, which is very linear. And like I said, I call it tasks. I'm not jazzed about the name, but it's fine. It's just something that I wanted to, we could think of a better name later. But basically, these are things that need to happen on these specific days. So activities, recurring, whatever. Just happen to call it tasks. And we've got this inbox. So I do have a couple more things in here now. I need to pay my accountant for the services he gives me, all the tax evasion that he helps me do. And then I need to sign up for level 2 Japanese classes. So we're currently on vacation, but like I said, it should be starting up next month, which is like in 2-3 days. So I need to go and sign up for the next level of classes. So anyway, the idea is that all the things that kind of come into my mind, tasks or notes or activities or whatever, what I like to do is put them in this little inbox, just like a very simple place to park everything. So I don't have to think about what is this, where does it go, or whatever. And then once a day I kind of go through it and just sort them and either get rid of it or put it somewhere more appropriate to help me actually do something with it. So for example, pay the accountant. I'm going to do that today. So I can just do a bank transfer, so I can do that. I'm just going to put it under Tuesday. I will look at that a little bit later. And then this, I think I can go tomorrow. I need to actually drive there because I want to ask him a couple questions before I just sign up for level 2. Okay, so now comes another piece of the very simple system that I've been using for a while now, and I find pretty useful, and you might find useful as well, which is a sort of an archive. Because the way the system works now is I've got things that are supposed to happen on specific days, and then I go and I do them. But then what, right? I could either delete them, which is definitely an approach you could take, and I've done that before, but I find that it's kind of nice to be able to go back and inspect what did I do on that day, right? Or be able to search for something, because some of these notes and things that happen on a specific day end up being useful in the future, right? You might want to look something up or reference something. And so if you're just constantly deleting things, it's kind of hard to do that. So what I like to do is create some place to kind of put these things. Actually, we can call it archive, let's call it log. But essentially what this place is where I'm going to put a daily running log of all the things that kind of go into that day. You can think of it as a journal or an agenda or whatever. For me, it's just a place where I like to move things that I've looked at, thought about, and either completed or just not going to do anything with, but I do want to keep them for posterity in case they do end up being useful in the future, as some of these things turn out to be. So what I do is I like to just create like a date. So I just put like a little date here just to know what date this was. And then I like to just put stuff in here. So for example, when I pay the accountant, what I'll do is just take it out of here, put it in here, and hide it. And if I ever want to look at it, I'll be able to kind of just open this up and see, what did I do on that day? If the accountant emails me like, hey, where's my money? I'll be able to remind myself that actually, no, I did pay you. You just, have to check your bank statements. So that sort of a thing. So I'm going to go ahead and move it back. So yeah, basically these are the pieces. It's one place to put everything for every day of the week. an inbox or just a place to kind of capture everything as it happens in real time, so it doesn't slip through the cracks and I don't forget about it. And then a place to kind of put everything once I'm satisfied that I'm done with it, or it's a it's a thing, it's a task basically that I did, and I want to remember that I did it or completed it on that day. It's really useful because otherwise I find that the days kind of blur into each other, especially if you work in things that, like for example, I work from home, so I don't have a lot of, I don't know, the best way to kind of describe it, but it's easy for the days to kind of run into each other because a lot of my day looks pretty much the same. I'm just looking at one screen or looking at another screen. So whether it's Tuesday or Thursday, it's kind of hard for me to tell. I'm just doing different things, but it feels kind of like a very long, never-ending day. So having a log to kind of break that up is very useful to keep me sane. We'll put it that way. So now for a moment, I'd just like to go back to the topics we were discussing in the previous video. There's a lot of stuff I want to put in here, but one thing I've kind of learned from trying to stay organized for many, many years now is that whenever you try to build a finished system, that follows getting things done or some sort of checklist, or there's like a million of these different things, different systems you could use to try and organize your life, they tend to just not really work for me too well, or rather they work, but they work for like a week when I'm excited about them, and then things fall apart and I stop doing the process or following the steps I need to follow to keep the system working. So one of the things that I'd like to explore in this video series is building up the system and you watching me do it and test it and use it in my real life. These are my real things. These are my real topics, the real topics that I'm interested in and the real things that I'm focused on. So if a new idea about how to actually manage my life occurs to me and I implement it and I have success, you'll be able to see that. And also if I have a spectacular failure, you'll be able to see that as well. So yeah, in the next video, I'd like to talk maybe a little bit more about productivity systems. I have a bit of experience with many of these as an attempt to organize my life, and some of them have definitely helped. I feel that I've picked up a couple of things from different systems, little bits and pieces here. I've written about some of these topics before, and I feel that I've been able to take some of the things that I've learned and use them in the way that I organize myself. So that's a topic that I think is worth touching on early. So you have an overview of my thinking around why I like to organize things this way. What are the things have I tried? What do I think about them? Have they worked for me? Have they not? What things have been useful? What things do I feel are really just kind of performative productivity? So yeah, we'll look at that in the next video. I just wanted to kind of show you a little bit about this system, get you thinking about that and just share that. And also catch up on what I need to do today. So yeah, that's it for this video. So I'll see you in the next one.